This just came completely out of nowhere. We didn't even get an announcement for this. But Pixar now has a Lego show. And before you dismiss this just because it's Lego, there's some seriously interesting stuff in this miniseries. Like the fact that we see the first return of Syndrome after 20 years, fully voiced by his original actor and everything. You wouldn't believe the effort they put into this little Lego series that I doubt anyone over the age of 10 is watching. They got almost all the original voice actors to reprise their roles for this, and they even went as far as making the opening Pixar logo into Lego. The show only has 6 episodes, each under 10 minutes long, so the whole thing is under an hour. But it's cool because each episode focuses on a different franchise. First is Cars, then Brave, The Incredibles, Finding Nemo, and Coco. In the first episode, Lightning McQueen enters a race with monster truck tires. And not that it's canon or anything, but it seems like it takes place before his retirement in Cars 3. There isn't really that much to this one, but what I mainly found interesting was just being able to see radiator springs in Lego. But this episode is kinda whatever, there's already so much Cars media as it is. I found it pretty funny how they tried to have this really cheesy message at the end about how you fail if you don't try.
I was pretty certain I was gonna fail, and failing can be scary. My best friend reminded me that giving up is worse than losing.
The next episode is a little more interesting though. It focuses on Merida and takes place after the movie Brave. She takes a trip to the Stonehenge with her brothers, and just like last time, they turn into bears. But weirdly this time, one of them turns into a rock. We see the return of the witch in this episode, and she helps in order to turn her brothers back into humans. But in the end, Merida herself turns into a rock. And even though nothing crazy happens, it's cool to see Merida again. There hasn't been much to add to the story of Brave since the movie came out, so I think this was a pretty good one to include. But the next episode is where it gets really interesting. It's easily my favorite of them all. This is the Incredibles one. Not only do we see the return of Syndrome, but we see the old Parr family house, which hasn't been seen since it was destroyed at the end of the first movie. I guess this takes place in some weird alternate reality timeline where it just completely ignores the events of the first movie. Syndrome never died, and their house never got destroyed. It's kind of weird, but I guess that's what's also cool about it. It doesn't have to make sense. I love how it incorporates the entire family with all their original voice actors. I can't even stress that enough. The fact that they got all these voice actors to come back just makes this seem so high quality. They also added in some Easter eggs. At the end of the episode, they order pizza from Pizza Planet. The Finding Nemo episode wasn't really that interesting. They go on a treasure hunt in an abandoned shipwreck, and Marlin ends up destroying the entire ship. Then Nemo and his classmates have to work together to build it back. I guess it's a good use of the Lego concept. That's pretty much it for that episode. And finally, there's the Coco episode. In this one, Miguel returns to the land of the dead and he has to perform a song on stage. The guys who performed before him were really good, and now the pressure is on to live up to their performance. It plays out a lot like it did in the movie, except this time he has his whole family backing him up, and he sings the song from the final scene before the credits. Again, not much to say about this episode, it's essentially just a musical number. The main takeaway from this video is, if anything, please just watch the Incredibles episode. It was really good. At the end of the day, this series really isn't anything too crazy, but I appreciate the effort that was put into it, and I'll be happy with any new Pixar content. I really hope we get more seasons of this in the future. I just feel like this is such a cool way to expand the franchises that we haven't seen in a while without going all out to make a sequel. There are so many Pixar movies that I feel like would work well with this, Bug's Life being at the top of the list. Anyway, let me know in the comments if you plan on watching this series, and what franchises would you like to see explored in the future. Anyway, thanks for watching, and bye.